Jury examination. Okay, what we doing?
Yeah, give me one quick second while I reply to this work email. Okay, that's it. It's a very simple reply.
You don't have to read it again unless you want to.
I like speaking as a Bruce Fairplay. I don't get to do that voice very often.
What are we doing?
Let's press it.
You want to press that one?
Yeah.
Oh, the evidence, you say?
That's right. And there's no room for doubt. There's a pointing to that.
Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. My computer's been lagging this entire time, so I didn't even know that you pressed it. Oh, that's right. And there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing at that Japanese man with the big mustache.
Says the English man with the bigger mustache.
Does he even have a mustache? I thought he had mutton chops.
Which means that we need to show the man some new evidence to make him change his mind.
If only we had that kind of evidence.
Don't worry, this summation examination has barely really started. Started, really?
Dyslexic.
Perhaps there'll be a shift in the situation that shows an existing piece of evidence in a new light.
Let's hope so. To start with, though, I'll need to find some way out of this deadlock. He has a mustache.
Oh, yeah, his mutton chops connect to the mustache.
Yeah.
I had a hairstyle like that once.
Like that?
Yeah, Alcry didn't like it. He made me shave it.
I don't really like it either. I don't like... It's just, if he had the beard, it'd be one thing.
Well, that was the point. It was to leave the chin clear. I'm actually gonna change my aesthetic style very recently, so keep an eye out, viewers. But it won't be mutton chops.
Spoiler: the beard is going to be on his forehead instead of his chin.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Okay, so what are we?
Okay, press Pearl over here. Yeah. I know, but last time we didn't, and we ended up pressing everyone in a weird, subversive way, and it was very confusing.
This isn't the time or the place to be discussing the price of gas, madam.
But really, think of the injustice. Air is a gas, and air is free. Why should ultimate gas cost money?
I don't.
It makes my blood boil. I can feel myself becoming more ruthless than ever.
This isn't the time or the place to be ruthless either.
That's not how that works.
If I might interject here.
Yes, madam.
It seems my fellow Joe takes issue with the price our company charges for gas. But it's precisely because of thieves like this man that the cost goes up. Oh, what a beastly man! That unkempt mustache, those hunched shoulders, poisoning tea, and stealing gas, utterly unforgivable.
No, Mr. Natsume isn't the one that's been stealing gas. I thank you to not go to adding more to his crimes.
Mr. Natsume hasn't been poisoning tea either. Well, anyway, I've quite made up my mind. It's as made up as the price of gas.
Commentary.
Okay.
Just to prove a point, let's not press this one, and you'll see that this is the one we had to press the entire time.
Okay. So what? Go to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's press this one.
Could we please refrain from all this talk of gas?
There's an all-out attack underway here, in case you hadn't noticed, against my company's gas. And I'm supposed to sit here and take it, am I? I don't think so.
She's really buzzing now.
All I've heard about are wonderful fuels, explosions, and poisonings. What about electricity? What about getting electrocuted? What about that? A little explosion here, there's nothing in comparison.
Any explosion could hardly be described as nothing, madam. Nevertheless, the theft of your gas is deplorable.
The rich.
My point exactly, but the gas thieves aren't even the worst of our enemies. We have far more devious reprobates to contend with on a daily basis, you know.
More devious? Who, madam?
Other gas companies, of course.
Other gas companies? Not quite what I was expecting.
We generate gas and deliver it to our customers fair and square.
Indeed, nobody's questioning that, madam. Altamont is an exemplary gas company.
There are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas at all.
What? But if they don't have any gas, how did they go about selling it to people?
You wouldn't think it possible, would you? But they steal our gas, you see, and sell that.
They steal your gas. How on earth is such a thing possible?
Gas company like ours deliver gas to people's homes via a network of pipes. These devious reprobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert our gas into their own rotten pipes. Then they make a contract with the household supplies by those pipes and take money from their precious gas that's rightfully ours without us even knowing. They're diverting gas into their own pipes illegally. What a brazen form of theft. We visit customers' homes to collect the money for their meters. We always have to check whether or not one of those devious companies has been up to its tricks. Cool. It's like, I forgot.
I love that face.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Joe, number 3?
I do!
Oh, golly, you mean me? I'm terribly sorry. I was just thinking to myself. I really did catch him off guard there.
Think to myself.
Thinking about what the lady next to you was saying, correct?
Thinking about what the lady next to me is saying.
Well, yes.
Is that good? Is that good?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I just got a little riled up about it recently, you see. Go on. An Altamont gas worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipework. I need to ask for cooperation while we carry out a secret check of your property, sir, the fellow said. So I let him in, and do you know what he did? I'm, afraid I have no idea. Please tell us. He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall. Then he grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it.
What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away company secrets there!
Oh please, everybody knows, but it was very nearly the death of me, I can tell you. What do you mean?
I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connect their customers to our pipe network.
Yes, but how does blowing into the pipes come into it?
Obviously, there's gas in the pipes. It's at a fairly low pressure. By blowing air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. And if you do that, any light connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment.
I see. In other words, If upon blowing into the pipe, the lights of an adjacent property have no contract with your company flicker, you can know that these devious scoundrels have been meddling with pipes.
Exactly, my lord. That's it in a nutshell. It's the reason why we have teams of workers going around neighborhoods to investigate such light flickers.
The trouble is, the particular worker who came to my house didn't know the strength of his own breath. He blew down the pipe with all his might. You can guess what happened, can't you? Well, if you blew hard, then... Wait, you mean... That's right. The lights didn't just flicker, they went out, along with the stove. Gas started pouring into the house. What a disaster.
The gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard, so the flames went out.
I'm afraid I yelled at the fellow. Are you trying to kill us all? I said. So by disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed gas pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network of pipes. Then when the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room.
Mr. Naruto, I think perhaps...
Yes, this is almost certainly the clue we've been hoping for. Juror number 3, the defense requests that you amend your statement to include that information. Oh, well, if you'd like, I don't mind.
Well, I do! That's our company's secret method of identifying the rogues that tried to delude us?
I think diddle. Yeah, diddle us.
Diddle us!
Listen, Chad, you better be careful, otherwise I'll diddle you.
Thank you? Gross. Like I said, madam, it's widely known already.
Diddle her? I hardly knew her.
Very well. Juror number 3, you will amend your statement accordingly. You know who else they're trying to diddle?
My mom!
Yes, my lord, although I'm not really sure what the point of all this is.
My mom! Yes, my lord.
Blow too hard in the gas pipe and it'll extinguish everything in the house, and then you're in real trouble.
Okay, let's pit this. Next. 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 I mean, I would say that one.
This one?
Yeah.
Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Good gracious, to whose statements do you refer, counsel? Juror number 6, did you hear what juror number 3 just said?
What? Yes, of course. I just heard him mumbling or something or other.
There is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Mr. Natsumi's tea did, in a matter of speaking, pass the victim's lips in the night in question.
What? What explanation?
I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the wall light to the scene, to see if there was any traces of poison there?
Do you want the rest of this? I was curious to see what your floundering would result in this time, but the mouth of a gas pipe? Scotland Yard have enough to do without exploring such irrelevance.
What a piece of work is a man. What are you trying to say, Mr. Shamspeare? What speakest thou? Prithee, is it not strange and strange? That is what I was to say to thee, sir. Thought it had been quite clear, but let me put it another way. The strychnine could have been in the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. And that is how the poison came to enter your body.
Good lord. They're tasty then, these gas pipes. Is that what you're saying?
Or is the gentleman suggesting that the poor man was so desperately hungry he tried to fill his belly with gas? Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss scene with him.
For shame, madam, speaking thy fancy. I assure you, I'm not such a buffoon that I have to kiss pipes.
Objection!
This is no summation examination. This is a farce. The prosecution will not stand for any more of my learned Nibonese friend's conjectures. To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips to the pipe that feeds it, he would have had to be a contortionist. These are empty assertions. There is no possible proof that the man did as you say.
It's true, I have no proof that Mr. Shakespeare put his lips to the pipe. However, I can say with some certainty that on multiple occasions, Mr. Shakespeare has been doing something in front of that lamp on his wall.
Something?
And I have evidence to prove it.
Are we really saying that Shamsphere just likes to suck on gas pipes? Is that what this argument is going?
Don't you?
What's the subtext? That he's getting high off of it? Like, why is the argument that he's sucking on pipes?
Don't you?
Yes, I am want to suck on a pipe every now and then, but it's not about me, it's about him. I don't understand why. Like, is the subtext that he's poisoned himself to get him in trouble? Is it I don't understand where this is going. This is off the rails in logic. This is not what I thought. I thought it was literally Natsume turned down the fire so it wasn't too hot because he fell asleep. And then they blew on the pipes turned the pilot light off, and he passed out and almost died, but people found him in time to air out the room. I thought that's where this was going. Now this is oh no, he's sucking on pipes, He likes that sweet, sweet taste of propane and propane accessories.
I suck propane and propane accessories.
He sucks propane and propane accessories. All right, you got our attention, lad. I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself.
So would I. Let's see this evidence then.
Oh, he was really enthusiastic. I want to see some of this pipe sucking.
Now that I've got the jury's ear, I just need to make this opportunity count. This is the proof that, time and again, Mr. Shakespeare stood in front of his gas lamp.
Oh, the picture with all the handprints. But, whoa,
That?
why? I guess so. I don't understand. It's just yum, yum, tasty. Why?
What the?
That's what I'm saying.
These are... wait, what are they called? Yes, skin prints that were found at the scene.
Skin prints, Council. I've never heard of such things.
What?
Oh, skin print.
You already knew about skin prints. We discussed
forgot.
that. It's
I
been
forgot.
2 days.
It feels like it's been 4.
Justice Ministry is currently assessing whether or not to permit fingerprints as evidence in court, however.
My lord, this is an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. It reveals all the places that Mr. Shakespeare touched in his room.
I've never seen anything like that. I mean, it's black magic, isn't it?
Well, if anyone could invent something like this, it's that great Sholmes fellow, that's for sure.
I agree. This month's edition of Engineering Thumbs was quite fascinating.
We found skin prints in many places that you would expect. On the table, on the costumes. However, Mr. Shakespeare also appears to have been touching some very unexpected places in his room. For example, here.
Around the hanging picture there, indeed, multiple handprints appear to be visible.
Well, I wonder. Could he have been appreciating the artwork, perhaps?
At first, my
It's so pretty!
What?
It's so pretty! I need to stare at this landscape intensely.
That's what I do with my paintings.
Just have them, like, just literally. Bleh.
Repeatedly. So there's lots of handprints. At first, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are. And you would find yourself directly in front of... Ah!
I don't believe it! The gas lamp!
The reason why is immediately obvious. It's clear that Mr. Shakespeare has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp.
Right, what have you been up to, Nut?
I'd ask the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statement.
Me? What did I say?
You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker. And now if you recall juror number 3's statement... What? Me now?
Oh, get it.
When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all the lights in the gas stove to go out, and gas started to leak into the rooms. Obviously, that incident was an accident. However, the simple fact is, if Mr. Shakespeare were to have blown hard into the gas pipe here in his room, he could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will.
Corker.
Are you suggesting that the man purposely caused the gas, too?
Yeah, like, Shamster's like a serial murderer. Like, he's been trying to slowly kill everybody that's living underneath him.
Above him, he's on the first floor.
Oh, above him. Yeah. He wanted that room specifically. I wonder why. Well, I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during a summation examination. I must toast my learned friends out of disregard for the letter of the law.
What's the meaning of this, Lord Van Zieks?
Yeah, if fingerprints aren't accepted, why are skin prints? Like, that's all Van Zieks needs to do. This is not admissible in court. Like, the curious photograph is presented by the defense, the so-called skin prints. Clearly, that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case.
But it's an exciting new forensic technique developed by a great detective.
It's nothing! A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands.
Ugh.
I knew he was going to smash the cup, so I tried to time the nothing to it. I do a good job.
Nice. Good emphasis.
Thank you.
Certainly even research of this nature by the esteemed Mr. Sholmes cannot be recognized by this court as harmful evidence.
But...
Whoa.
Please, my lord, if I may.
Mr. Zato,
It was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wish to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene as a tool by which to explain a possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the court, of the jury.
Huh. Yeah, Von Zieks, you do that all the time. You do it all the time.
And if the trial were to come to an end now, we would never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen. I'm sure the jurors would agree.
What?
Hmm.
Ah!
That was a sound that was imperceptible to like most people over the age of 20. Like that sounded like a senior citizen rat just like breathing its last breath.
I mean, it's really hard to make a perceptible sound with that voice. That's just like a sound.
It was an octogenarian rat just like with his friends and family as his
Okay.
life just slowly slipped away.
I'm gonna have to watch that in the VOD. See what that sounded like. You're right. Whether these strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3.
Oh, yes, I do declare that Great Detective's investigation results such absolutely fascinating.
She's like vibrating. she's straight vibing there.
And I want to hear what that shady actor fellow has to say about those shady handprints.
Listen, if anyone knows about anything shady, is he in the chat?
I mean, he spoke an hour ago. I don't know if he's still in the chat. I think he is.
What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy.
Well, I did say it, didn't I? And I don't like to break a promise.
No, wait! What is lordship is not verdict of evidence.
I do what I want. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Just one more juror changing his or her mind. Miss Natsumi's trial will have to continue.
Thank you, Mr. Zato, but I couldn't have done it without you.
I'm surprised that Queen Bee Altamont hasn't already, because she would want to know why he's blowing on pipes.
Oh no, it was you who identified the clue after all. This is very much your success.
I mean, that's assuming she believes that is reliable enough to show he's blowing on pipes.
Yeah.
Why, Mr. Shamspear, you seem to be losing your composure.
Just one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it!
Very well, continue, Counsel.
Okay, let's get going. Okay.
We're the ones to decide if the evidence is worthy of consideration or not. Us, the jury.
Oh, do you want me to read the other line? I can read
I mean,
it.
if you want to.
I'm very interested in the results of this good detective investigation at the scene.
Okay. I guess.
You guess what?
Can we press a statement that's already been pressed?
We haven't pressed this one.
I mean, can we press a statement that person who's already on our side?
He's not on our side.
I'm thinking about little potato boy on the right,
Oh, no.
right? Like it's
I
not gonna,
don't
you
believe
can't even
in
do anything.
breaking promises. We can't come to a decision while so much is up in the air.
Oh yeah, you're not even given the option to press. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's press this one.
You mean it's poisoned?
That's right, it's happened a tidy few times now. This is most troubling indeed. It's always days like this when I don't get any wages. I get in at tea time, see? I was here doing it, my wife. She gets that devilish look on her face, and she slips some white powder in my cup.
And you drink it anyway?
I was brought up proper, I was. If someone gives you a cup, how you drink it?
What happened to you? What did it taste like?
It was god awful, believe me to be. Salty as hell.
That's such just salt.
Then I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea with salt.
No. So, she doesn't even care enough to poison me properly, eh? Unbelievable.
Listen, I would do that if I was mad with somebody. I might just put a little salt in their tea.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do it if you're like saying you do it heated. Be like, you do mad like you can't even poison me properly. You just like.
Yeah, I just like I would be mad on both sides for both reasons. Yeah, like you're just trying to give me high blood pressure.
Just poison me,
Might
coward!
as well. Yeah.
Move on, please.
Okay. Well,
Little potato in the background saying, I happen to like salt in my tea.
I just drink the salt plain.
He drinks plain salt, not even like watered down.
just a cup of salt.
Yeah, and he's like chewing on it. He's like, I love to drink salt. Yeah, I don't keep going. Go back, I guess. So it's between these three people: Fairplay, Quimby, and the guy who works on the street who still doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
And we've pressed all three of them. So I have to
But
pick.
sometimes you do have to press somebody again after you've pressed somebody else, which is why
Oh,
it
then
doesn't matter.
press Bruce Fairplay again. Because now there's more evidence to consider, right?
All the evidence, you say.
That's right. Oh, there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing to the Japanese man with a big mustache.
This is all the same. It just doesn't let me skip. The defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events in the night in question. What do you make of that?
What? You're so-called skip prince?
It's an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective himself.
The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And if Mr. Shamsbury had indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe on the night in question, it can't be denied there's a possibility that that's where the poison was.
Well, yes, I won't deny that it's playing on my mind. But as the prosecution rightly said, you should pay way to unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides,
Yes?
if your fellow has been up to some mischief with the gas pipe dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he got up to the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it?
Oh,
If you can't make a case better than that, I'm afraid I can't change my stand.
You make a very valid point, sir.
what? That's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty.
Oh no.
No, wait.
Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? So it's time you prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohorts can, that is.
Just leave our nationality out of this, please.
Mr. Naruhodo, if we can't substantiate our position, I'm afraid jurors can change their minds might very well change them back.
What can I do? Is there any more proof I can give here? Can I show that Mr. Shansbury really did blow down the gas pipe on the night in question? Which choice?
Can I look at the evidence? Is it too late? No, co-records. Let me see the evidence. Go back. That's irrelevant. Next. Irrelevant. Next. Irrelevant. Next. No. No. Can I see that picture? No, nothing in that picture. The ripped envelope's not gonna be relevant. Teacup's not relevant. The soap isn't relevant. I mean, I have an idea, but like I don't know how to like how to express that. Because, like, if I say I have a supporting testimony, is it between the people who are still there? Because I can use.
I think you just have to
Gyarados.
pick a person out of our list of people.
I have a supporting testimony, and then we would use Gyarados as the supporting testimony.
Gyarados?
That's I think that's what I want to do.
No, in truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory. However, there is witness testimony that substantiates it.
What's that? Testimony?
This is incredible. Whose testimony? Yes, it's all connected. Everything is linked. A person whose testimony revealed details about the gas in the Gyarados residence that night, namely...
It's Gyarados.
Well, Mr. Foreman, does that convince you?
Oh no. Oh no.
Phew, I don't think he was listening.
Rest assured, Counsel, I shan't be to such nonsensical answers go without penalty.
I
You
thought I
can
got away with
see
it.
where I was going.
Yes, but we didn't have testimony from him.
Witnesses spoke about the gas on the night in question. Yes, there was someone.
Is it Popeye?
That's what I thought too, but I was obviously chose the wrong person.
Like, is that what I'm supposed to be referring to? Oh, we gotta go all the way back?
I'll
Just
load.
reload. I don't have to hear that.
Reload!
Reload! Cover me, I'm reloading!
So, supporting evidence?
Yeah.
Or supporting
guess,
testimony?
Popeye? Is it Popeye?
You think it's Popeye?
I mean, he's the only other person who's testified about
You think it's them?
a drone bee meter man. Sure. Bring him back. No. No! I'm so good at this game, everybody. Here, flip. Who else?
It's
I
okay,
said
the
something.
mouse is just judging you.
The mouse is judging me. Whose testimony?
Suzaru Mikotowa.
Iris Wilson. She's just there. I mean, Iris is very ride or die. She'll come in and she'll be like, absolutely. I said this. I totally did.
Barack Van Zeeks.
Oh, please. I don't think it was something Van Zeke said, but if it was, oh, that'd be such a good come up. Was it? I mean, at this point, I can only think it was either Tobias or William. I love that I'm using their first names too. But like, that's just by process of elimination of who's testified. A person whose testimony revealed details about the gas in the Gyarados residence. The issue is that I haven't. It's been so long since we played it. So
At this point, just pick somebody.
do Tobias. Nope. So go back. It's Shamspear. It's literally the last person who's testified in this court, unless I forgot somebody else. I mean, Quimby. Yeah, if it's not him, I guess it's Quimby. Is it Quimby? Is it Quimby?
Is that
Also,
your next guess? It's Quimby?
If we ever have merch, I want a shirt that says "Is it Quimby?" Just like in bigger and bigger font all the way down the shirt. Yeah, is it Quimby? It wasn't Quimby. Who was it? Who?
Suzaru Mikotowa.
Is it Suzato? She didn't even testify. Oh,
Pick
is it
somebody.
her?
Pick somebody.
It's Suzato. Oh! Ah!
So Shady did say he would have bet money on her
This game.
Oh no, I think he said he would have bet money on Quinby. But yeah.
Who else testified about the gas? Von Zeeks. Do Von Zeeks. Then do Duncan Ross.
Duncan Ross, he's dead!
Duncan Ross is dead.
You want me to click Duncan Ross?
I genuinely want you to Duncan Ross. It's not Duncan Ross? Who would have thought? Who else is there? Who else is there? Is it Soseki?
Soseki? You want to use Soseki?
Might as well. He's literally the last person I could have thought. Literally.
Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume himself.
Obviously, ignore the 17 other attempts. Obviously.
I wish those were all canon, and he just, like, went through, like, the list of everybody, like, involved, even tangentially, and they're just, like, sitting here. And they're like, what? And then he finally says, obviously, it's Soseki Natsume. I'm like, Nani?
Oh, this game! The defendant!
At the very beginning of the proceedings here in court yesterday, Mr. Natsume said the following.
My lodgings. There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. Even on that fateful night it happened, when I returned from Mr. Shamspeare's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me.
So, does it all sound right now?
I knew he said this, but I didn't think this is what we were referring to. I thought he was referring to the whole pilot light thing. That John Garrett was always looking and sees the light flickers. I thought that's what we were... It's fine. It's fine. This makes a lot more sense.
In the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence or not?
Good golly.
So the Shakespeare fellow blew air into the gas pipe to make the man's stove go out on purpose.
Now, hold your horses there. Why would you do that for?
Mr. Foreman,
What is it, man?
we cannot allow judgment to be passed while this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have conclusive evidence yet. However, you must surely agree there is more to this case than meets the eye.
Ah! Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, I'm a man of logic first and foremost.
As 4 jurors leaning towards not guilty, my lord, you overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue.
The defense has rightfully indicated. The summation examination has concluded with a majority of jurors altering their decisions. 2 jury members now called guilty, 4 now called not guilty. Therefore, the jury's opinion is conflicted and in accordance with the law of this land. I hereby order the continuation of this trial. Mr. William Shamspeare.
My lord, how can thy humble Shamspeare serve thee?
What say you in response to various revelations made during the summation examination?
So God mend me, I do solemnly swear, I recall aught of either the lamp or the pipe.
But the handprint's a bit of a tiny mess all over the wall there. How do you explain that, eh?
Medic! I'm done with this. The dignity of the great courtroom has been sullied enough already. Jury number 5.
Me?
As I went to some pains to point out already, A print from the self-professed detective's toy has no place in a British court of law. Ugh. As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall means at this time unestablished conjecture. You would all do well to remember that.
Ah. But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the lamp in Mr. Shansford's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there...
What appears to be extremely simple is my neighbor's friend's mind. You will recall that in order to check for the presence of poison in the tea, some remnants of the tea were required.
Yes.
Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that even if poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have completely evaporated right now, making any analysis impossible.
Ugh, I didn't think of that.
In any case, Counsel, I fail to see what could possibly have motivated the man to do as you described. What on earth would this fellow have wanted to blow air to the gas pipework where he lived?
There's only one possibility that I can think of, and that is to use the leaking gas to commit murder.
Order, order! Counsel! Precisely whose life do you propose this man was plotting to end?
The answer couldn't be simpler. I've unraveled the mystery this far. Mr. Shansper wanted to end the life of...
Soseki Natsume.
Oh, okay, sounds certain.
I'm very certain, yeah.
If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing.
I never have these parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove lit is pretty much suicide. You'd freeze to death in no time.
Mr. Gerda, the landlord, has a large fireplace in part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shampshire was trying to end.
Outrageous!
I'm talking, of course, about the defendant. Mr. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. He's the victim the man was trying to murder.
Good gracious!
Objection! The accused is actually the aggrieved. Interesting. However, the fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged. Namely, that the accused is the aggressor here.
What? How can you still claim that?
Let us indulge your fancies for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison in the mouth of the gas pipe. The question then arises is who put it there?
Who did put it there?
The only logical conclusion is that the responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supply and his intent to kill.
Yes, that would indeed seem logical. If the assailant were unaware, how would he or she have known to lace the end of the gas pipe with poison?
So now we must ask, how could anyone have known Mr. Shakespeare's murderous designs?
Ah, you mean to suggest?
Naturally, the sole possible answer to that question could be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known.
What?
In other words, the person put the poison on the gas pipe in what's clearly retaliatory act. What was a clear retaliatory attack can only have been the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Ah. Hmm.
Whatever Mr. William Shapespeare may or may not have contrived to do, he was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. And the only person who could have possibly perpetrated that attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. Huh? That sounded like a creaky door opening. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now that a clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established, that suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend?
Ah. Ugh. How did he manage to turn that around on me so rapidly?
Mr. Hodo, you must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leanings again. Their leanings against us again. This may be our last chance to gain the advantage.
Bam, bam,
What advantage?
bam.
Well, it would seem that somebody put poison down the gas pipe in Mr. Shakespeare's room. So we must name that person now and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt.
You mean name the true culprit?
I know it might sound impossible, but if we fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all.
As it happens, one possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence, the poison, it's all pointing to a particular person now.
The prosecution calls for the jury to consider their leanings again. I trust you'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman. What? Oh, don't worry. I don't know what I was going to say, but I was
It said we know exactly.
We know exactly.
There was one other person who I believe could have been involved in all this. The true culprit of this crime.
The true culprit?
A term found only in second-rate novels featuring the great detectives, my Nipponese friend. But why not? This farce has gone on for so long already. I have no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax.
Thank you.
Tell us, my learned Nipponese friend, what is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? Oh, you definitely should do this one.
I should what? Save?
Yeah.
You don't know? It's a little obvious! It's Susaru Mikoputoba.
No! Is the true culprit of this crime is it
Von Zeeks.
Aaron? Adron?
Is that your guess?
Adron B. Meterman. I don't... Yeah, maybe.
Is it maybe a yes, or...
It's check it, and if we're wrong, we'll just load the same. But I... You claim this person is a true culprit.
Highly suspicious, I would say yes.
Perhaps my learned Nipponese friend should turn to wide eyes of suspicion on yourself.
What?
For it seems to me that your reckless reasoning makes you far more than anyone else you can name. A very dangerous man indeed.
Gah!
Mr. Haruto, please, you must concentrate.
I was trying to.
Then you must concentrate harder.
Ugh, harsh.
Was a so-called true culprit of this crime.
Well, you narrowed it down to not A drone B meter man.
Not Adron B. Who could it be? Who could it be? Could it be Olive Green?
Is that your guess?
I guess so.
I need a committed answer. Otherwise I can't.
Yes.
The name of this person responsible for the poison that afflicted Mr. Shansby, I believe, is Miss Olive Green.
Oh.
Miss Olive Green, Miss Olive Green. I do feel as though I've heard that name in the recent past, Council, but I don't recall where.
Miss Olive Green, the woman from 6 days ago. The victim in the recent case of stabbing on Briar Road. An incident for which Miss Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add. And not relevant to this case.
Oh,
If
of course,
gas
yes,
thieving-
Miss Green.
If the gas theft is not relevant to this case, neither is Olive Green's.
But I needed to
Moving
jog the
on.
judge's memory.
Mm-hmm.
She was life comatose for some 3 days, I believe, but I hear she regained consciousness 2 days ago.
And I hardly need remind the Mr. Shamsphere's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have rather fine alibi.
True, and the night that the incident occurred, Miss Green was in hospital unconscious. So in the face of it, it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible, but still. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in hospital yesterday. We found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison.
Good gracious, she had poison.
And there's another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court.
Tell me, Mr. Shamspere.
My lord, pray what be thy bidding?
Are you acquainted with Miss Green?
Eh? No, never heard of her.
Judging by the look on Mr. Shamsp's face, I think perhaps he generally doesn't know her, at least not by name.
As the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see my learned Nipponese friends fast through to its conclusion.
I appreciate that.
The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here.
Yes, Miss Olive Green.
Indeed, my lord, 1 hour should be sufficient. How does he know it's only going to take 1 hour to find Olive
Very
Green?
well. I grant the request.
He's confident. Excellent, I hope.
The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say. But at
Yeah,
the
it's
present
pretty
time,
extraordinary.
I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, counsel. Reconvene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned.